So in this section, what we'll do is we're going to find some linear equations now. So there are a few ways to do this. The one that either one is perfectly fine. The first one we're going to look at using slope-intercept form, which is again y equals mx plus b. So, you know, depending which one of these steps or how many of these steps you have to go through, it just depends on what you're given in the problem. So you may have to calculate the slope, or the slope might be given to you. Because the whole idea of this is to build the equation. You have to find two things: the slope and the y-intercept. Once you find those two things, you have your equation of the line. Now, you might have to calculate the slope, but then once you have the slope, you plug it into here, and then you plug in coordinates for one of the ordered pairs in for x and y, and then you can solve for b. And then once you do that, you have your equation of a line. So it's actually pretty straightforward. So this one's really easy. Find the equation of a line that has the slope 3. I tell you the slope, and contains the point 25. Okay, so y equals mx plus b. I need to find two things. I need to find the slope and y-intercept. I already know the slope. It's 3. Now, to find the y-intercept, now it's not 5. The y-intercept is not 5. Because the x-coordinate here is 2. It's not 0. Alright? So to find the y-intercept, you have to use this point. You're going to plug this point into here with 3 in here as well. So what you have is, so the y-coordinate is 5, and y is 5, equals the slope is 3, times x, which is 2, plus b. Now you could solve for b. So when you do that, well, you're going to have 5 equals 3 times 2 is 6, plus b. And to solve for b here, you just subtract 6 from both sides. Get b equals 5 minus 6 is negative 1. So, then my slope and my y-intercept. So my equation is y equals 3x minus 1. That's it. Now, for this example, I want to find the equation that passes through these 2 points. Well, now here I don't have a slope, so I got to figure out the slope. You know how to calculate that. The slope formula. I give it to you again right here. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is the second y-coordinate, which is negative 1, minus y1 is negative 5. So I minus negative 5. Again, be careful with the negatives. x2 is 2 minus x of 1, which is negative 3. Okay, so now I have, well, a minus a negative is a positive, so I have negative 1 plus 5. And then 2 minus negative 3 becomes 2 plus 3. So negative 1 plus 5 is 4. 2 plus 3 is 5. So my slope is 4/5. Now, again, I found the slope. I just need to find the y-intercept. Now, to find the y-intercept, you're going to, just like we did here, you're going to take the slope, you're going to plug it into this equation. Alright, that's what I have now. So now to find b, I got to use either this order pair or this order pair and plug it in for x and y, for their coordinates. It doesn't matter which one I pick, because both of these ordered pairs are on the line that I'm looking for. So I'll pick the first one. Or you could pick the second one because it has fewer negatives. You know what? I'll do that. I'll pick this one because it has fewer negatives and it'll make the math a bit easier. So y is -1 equals 4/5 times x, which is 2, plus b. So now 4/5 times 2 is, well, that's 8/5, but you could use your calculator. Eight-fifths plus b. Now to solve for b, you just subtract 8/5 from both sides. So now you're going to have -1 minus 8/5. So when you do that in your calculator, -1 minus, now don't, you know, I always like to put parentheses around my fractions. So -2.6, but making that, keep it as a fraction. You're going to get -13/5. So my equation containing these two ordered pairs is y equals my slope 4/5 x plus b. My b is negative, so -13/5. And there it is. That's my equation. So yeah, you just need, using this slope-intercept form, you just need two things: the slope, y-intercept. Okay, look at this one. Find the equation of a line that contains the point 5, 3 and is parallel to the line y equals 2x minus 3. Okay, well, if I'm trying to find an equation of a line, I need the slope and y-intercept. So how do I find the slope here? Well, the slope of the line that I want is parallel to this line. Alright, well, what's this line's slope? This line's slope is 2, right? This slope is 2. So any line parallel to this line, which is what I need, also has a slope 2. Okay, so that's not bad. And then I have a point. So it's very similar to the first problem. So now I have y equals 2x plus b. Right? And now I could use this point, plug them in here, and solve for b. So I have 3 equals 2 times 5 plus b, which is 3 equals, that's going to be 10 plus b, and then subtract 10 from both sides. So you're going to have b equals 3 minus 10, which is -7. There's my slope, there's my y-intercept, so my equation is y equals 2x minus 7. And this equation is parallel to that one because they have the same slope, but this equation has this point. It has a different y-intercept than that one. So there's my equation. On this line, so this one, I want to find the equation of a line that contains this point and is perpendicular to this line. Alright, well, first of all, this line is not in slope-intercept form. So let's put that in slope-intercept form. Then look at the slope, and then take the opposite reciprocal of that slope, and that'll be the slope of the line that we're looking for. So let's solve for y here. So add 2x. So I have 5y equals 2x plus 10. Divide by 5. So I have y equals, so I could break this 5 up, so 2/5 x plus 10 over 5 is 2. So this is not the line I'm looking for. The line I'm looking for is perpendicular to this line. So the slope of this line is 2/5. So the slope of the line I'm looking for, which is perpendicular to it, has the opposite reciprocal of 2/5, which is negative 5/2. This is the slope I need. So I found that. Okay. I'll get rid of that star just in case it confuses you. Alright, so now that's the slope I have the point, so now I'm ready to go. So y equals mx plus b. Let's plug in the slope, negative 5/2, and plug in the coordinates of the ordered pair. So that's going to be negative 7 equals negative 5/2 times x, which is 6, plus b. So negative 5/2 times 6, alright. That is negative 15 plus b. Add 15. So b equals negative 7 plus 15. So negative 7 plus 15 is 8. So the equation y equals negative 5/2 x plus 8 is my equation. Again, pretty straightforward. It's really not that bad. The next method, I'm only going to look at one example. This is the point slope form, which actually comes from the slope formula. If you solve for this quantity by multiplying both sides of the equation by this, you're going to get this formula right here. This right here is the point slope form. And what's good about the point slope form is you only need an ordered pair and the slope. You don't need the y-intercept. That's why it's called the point slope form and not the y-intercept form, which is really convenient. You just need, as long as you have the slope and one of the ordered pairs, you could use this and then solve for y. It's really nice. So let's look at the one example I have here. I'm going to use the point slope form to find the equation, but then I'm going to actually solve for y and get it in slope intercept form. So again, I have two ordered pairs, so I have to find my slope. So y2 is going to be negative 1 minus y1, which is 2, over x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is negative 5. So negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3, all over. 3 minus negative 5, that becomes 3 plus 5, which is 8. So my slope is negative 3/8. Okay, so I have a slope. I have a point. Well, actually, I have 2 points. So instead of doing math to find the y-intercept, instead I could use the point slope form to do it. It's much faster this way, and you'll get the same result either way, but using point slope form is pretty nice because you get to the same result more efficiently that way. So if I use point slope form, I have y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. So now I could pick either this ordered pair or this one and plug in their coordinates in the y1 and x1 spot, and then plug in my slope and then solve for y. I'm going to pick this one because it has fewer negatives. So when I do that, I'm going to have y minus, now my y coordinate here is -1, so I'm going to emphasize that with blue, equals, what was my slope? -3/8 times the quantity x minus, now the x coordinate for this ordered pair was 3. Alright, now all I have to do is solve for y. And that'll give me in slope-intercept form. So when I do that, I have y minus -1 is y plus 1 equals, now you could distribute you want to distribute this -3/8 to both things. So that becomes -3/8 x. -3/8 times -3. You could use your calculator for that. All right. Now it says 1.125, but remember we like fractions, or we want to keep things as fractions, so go to math, enter again, and you get 9/8. So that's going to be plus 9/8. And now you just got to subtract 1. That'll get rid of the 1's here, so then you'll have y equals -3/8 x, 9/8 minus 1. Again, you could use your calculator. 9/8 minus 1, 1.25, which is 1/8. But if you want to do math fraction again, you can do that. You get 1/8. And that is my equation. That's the equation that contains these 2 ordered pairs. And if you did this using slope-intercept form instead of point-slope form, that's okay. But either way, you're going to get the same result. But yeah, when it comes to finding equations of lines containing certain pieces of information, you can either use point-slope form or, more commonly used, slope-intercept form using this. But with this one, you just need 2 pieces of information, whereas the other one, you just need the slope and a point. This one, you need a slope and a specific point, the y-intercept. That's it. So, really quick, really quick video here, but the next section is going to involve a new concept, and it's the last section of Chapter 1. So, yeah, the next section will contain, we'll be talking about functions, and that's a very important concept in mathematics. So, yeah, that's it for this video.